Picture this: Jesus Christ, the Son of God, only 33 years old. At the height of his ministry, crowds are gathered everywhere, miracles happening daily, and yet, at the peak of his influence, he chooses to allow himself to be arrested, tortured, mocked, and crucified. Why? Why die so young? What could he have accomplished with more time on earth? Why not live a full, long life and continue teaching, healing, and guiding the masses? These are the questions that often get overlooked. But here's the truth that many miss. The reason Jesus died when he did, at the age of 33, is far deeper, more powerful, and more significant than most people realize. It's not just about the physical act of dying. His death was meticulously planned, timed down to the very second, as part of a divine calendar. And the secret behind this timing is buried in ancient prophecies that go back centuries before Jesus even walked the earth. And by the end of this video, you'll begin to understand why Jesus' death was not just a tragic event, but part of a divine countdown. A moment in history that couldn't have been delayed by even a single day. You see, most Christians are focused on why Jesus died, but few stop to ask why he died when he did. Why at 33 years old, when most Jewish rabbis would have taught well into their senior years? This wasn't just some random decision. It was divine timing, a moment foretold in ancient prophecy from the very beginning of time. The Apostle Paul speaks about this in Galatians 4 verse 4 when he says, "But when the fullness of the time had come, God sent forth his Son." Everything Jesus did, his teachings, his healings, his miracles, was on a divine clock, ticking down to an appointed hour. But where did this countdown begin? When was the trigger pulled? The answer lies centuries before his birth, in prophecies that were written in blood. Two of the most significant are found in Isaiah 53, which paints a detailed picture of the suffering servant, and Daniel 9's prophecy about the anointed one being cut off, marking the moment the Messiah would die. But it wasn't just these prophecies. There was something deeper going on, a hidden numerical mystery that would provide further clues. The number 33 holds profound biblical significance. It represents promise, covenant, and completion. King David, a type of Christ, ruled over Jerusalem for 33 years, and Jesus is called the Son of David. But this isn't just a coincidence. The number 33 aligns perfectly with the Jewish feasts, particularly Passover. Jesus didn't just die randomly. He died during the Passover, and there's a very specific reason for this. In the Jewish tradition, the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed at a precise moment. Jesus fulfilled this prophecy to the minute, but there's more to the story. You see, his timing wasn't just connected to the Jewish feasts. It was linked to something much bigger. A cosmic battle was unfolding, and there were spiritual forces at work trying to derail the plan. Satan, knowing the importance of Jesus' mission, was working tirelessly to prevent the fulfillment of these prophecies. This was more than a political struggle. It was a spiritual war. If Jesus missed this crucial timing, salvation itself would have been impossible. Some scholars even believe that there was only one exact year in which Jesus could die, one that would align perfectly with the Roman calendar and the celestial markers that were in place at that time. This is where the stars come into play. During the year of Jesus' crucifixion, there were solar and lunar eclipses, and ancient records from Rome, Babylon, and even China document unusual events that pointed to the significance of that year. But these weren't just random astronomical events. They were divine signs, messages to the rulers of the world, including Caesar and Pilate. These cosmic occurrences confirmed the divine timing of Jesus' death. The political and spiritual climate of that time made the crucifixion possible. And if Jesus had waited even a single year, it's possible that Pilate, the Roman governor who played such a crucial role, might not have been in power. If that had happened, prophecy would have gone unfulfilled, and the divine plan would have been delayed. This brings us to one of the most overlooked verses in the Gospels. My hour has not yet come. Jesus would often delay performing public miracles early in his ministry, not because he didn't have the power to do so, but because he was waiting for the exact hour that the Father had set. And when that hour arrived, nothing could stop it, not even prayer. What does this mean for us today? It means that Jesus' death was not just a tragic event. It was a moment ordained by God, a part of a divine plan that spanned centuries. His death was no accident. It was a calculated, purposeful act that tied together ancient prophecies, divine timing, and cosmic forces. His mission was unstoppable, and nothing, not even the greatest efforts of the enemy, could prevent it. The moment in Gethsemane, when Jesus prayed so intensely that his sweat became like drops of blood, isn't about the fear of death. It's about fulfilling the precise timing set by God. This was the moment when Jesus could have chosen to prolong his life. He could have continued his ministry, taught for more years, performed more miracles, and potentially gathered even more followers. But instead, he chose to follow a divine timetable that required his life to end when it did. When Peter tried to defend Jesus with a sword, Jesus immediately told him to put it away. He embraced the arrest that would lead to his trial and crucifixion. He didn't call down a legion of angels to save him. Why? Because there was an urgency. The divine schedule was in place, and every moment had to unfold exactly as planned. The Last Supper, which Jesus shared with his disciples, was not just a final meal. It was filled with deep symbolic meaning, each element representing a prophecy coming to life. Even Judas's betrayal was no random act. It happened with perfect timing, fulfilling prophecy without Judas even realizing it. The trials that followed, held in the dead of night, were illegal under Jewish law, but they had to happen in order to meet the deadlines of prophecy. The high priests, though unknowingly, were fulfilling God's plan, even as they tried to condemn Jesus. And there's a detail in Pilate's words that often gets overlooked. When he says, "Behold the man," he's unknowingly echoing the language of prophecy, signaling something far bigger than what he understood. The political maneuvering of the time ensured that Jesus would be crucified before the Sabbath began. Why was this so important? It wasn't just about the crucifixion, it was about the exact timing of his burial. Jesus had to be buried before sundown to fulfill the Passover Sabbath timing. If this step was delayed, prophecy would be broken. But the importance of the timing didn't stop with his death. It was also crucial for his resurrection. Jesus' death and resurrection weren't random events. They were timed to perfection. The Bible tells us in Matthew 12, verse 40, that Jesus would spend 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth, referencing the sign of Jonah. This timeline demanded precision. Every hour mattered. But more than that, it was a countdown that didn't just lead to death. It led to victory, a cosmic reset. Jesus' death on the cross marked the end of the old covenant and the beginning of the new. This change was set into motion at the very beginning of creation. In Genesis 3, verse 15, God foretold the coming of a Savior who would crush the serpent's head. Satan had been targeting this moment for millennia, thinking that if he could kill Jesus, he would win. When Jesus died, hell rejoiced. The unseen realm celebrated, believing they had won. But they didn't realize that they had triggered their own defeat. What followed next is one of the most profound moments in Christian belief. Jesus descended to the spirits in prison, as described in 1 Peter 3 verse 19, and preached to them. He took authority from the enemy, claiming the keys to death and hell. This moment of victory was only possible because Jesus died exactly when he did. The resurrection power that would bring him back to life was released early on Sunday morning, just as prophecy had foretold. But what if Jesus had lived longer? What if he had waited a few more years to die? The shocking truth is this: any delay would have broken the fulfillment of prophecy. It would have canceled salvation, and the world would have been lost. But there's a deeper, more personal reason why Jesus had to die when he did, and it has to do with you. His death wasn't just an event in history. It was tied directly to your life. From the moment of Jesus' death, the divine timing of God's eternal calendar was set in motion, and your life was part of that plan. Every person who would ever be born, every life that would ever be touched by the message of salvation, was accounted for in that perfect moment. Jesus' decision to die at 33 wasn't random. It was an act of love that ensured you and I would have a chance at salvation. But this isn't just about the past, it's about the future. Just as Jesus' death was perfectly timed, his second coming will also be perfectly timed. The signs of the end times are already unfolding. Just as the first death was a countdown, so too is the return of Christ. The same precision that guided his first coming is working toward his return. We are living in prophetic times, and understanding the timing of Jesus' death strengthens our faith and helps us see the bigger picture. The message of the cross is not just for the past. It's for today, for your life, for your salvation. Jesus died for you, not by accident, but by divine appointment. His love for you is so deep that he died at the exact moment needed for your salvation. And now, the final truth that ties it all together. Jesus could have lived longer, but if he had, you would be lost. His death wasn't too early, it was right on time. It was the perfect moment, chosen by God for your salvation. Now, as we await his return, let's live in a way that reflects the urgency and importance of the times we're living in. Are you ready for his return? This is a question worth considering because the countdown is already ticking. Keep watching, stay engaged, and prepare your heart for what's to come.